Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chemically Bonded. Let's go ahead and continue. With the end of day bell chiming methodically once more, a familiar sound breaking apart the silence of the room. Our day is brought to an official end with a few departing words from the teacher. I want you all to finish this by next week. A procrastinating populace damages the country, you know. In retrospect, I should probably submit a formal apology to the local prefectural office for all the harm I've caused. Finishing his sentence with his own sigh of relief, the class bursts out into chorus as conversations and gossip re-emerge out from the hearts of my classmates. Words and thoughts inhibited by the school routine, now out in the wild once more. As the afternoon light seeps through the glass windows of the room, I can't help but think how predictable the scenario really is. Ending my day with the warmth of the sun caressing my cheeks, as I ponder how to approach the small brunette bundle of energy sitting at the front of the room. The girl known as Kiyoko Ishikawa.
Hey, what are you doing tonight? There's a new show on. I really want to watch it. You sure? You know we have midterms soon, right? What's the point? We all know he's going to top them.
Listening to the passing gossip as I make my way towards Kyoko's chair, I can't help but agree with the voices passing through the cluttered sounds of the room. Yet I can't help but feel she'd be disappointed if I didn't put some effort in either.
Hey, what are you doing tonight?
I don't know. Why do you care?
But you're supposed to study.
Or at least something like that. As people before me weave out and around desks towards the door, I find myself scurrying through my classmates to finally approach Kyoko's desk. At the end of the day, it's another trip to the science club. Despite things starting to come to a close, a sinking feeling tugs at the bottom of my heart, dragging it further down into a sea of thought I can't escape from. Until Naomi decides to approach Kiyoko, all I can do is ride this wave of tranquility and enjoy my time with her without involving myself in their relationship. You excited for the club?
What?
Turning her head sharply to face me, a jolt of surprise rushes through Kiyoko as she shakes back in her seat, eyes widened with fright. What's wrong?
Nothing. I was just about to ask you that. That's all.
You didn't even know I was here.
Before I turned around, you could have been. It's a quantum superposition.
Oh, what?
You're either behind me or not until I check.
Once again, a communications barrier between me and little Miss Einstein. Regardless, as she stands before me complacently with her rosy cheeks puffed out in a pout, I can know for sure that she's proud of herself.
You're excited though, right?
I can hardly say I've ever been excited for the club. Yet it would be a lie to say that I don't enjoy going there. From roping me into the club in an almost puppy dog manner, to casually spending our days together, being with her in itself is enjoyable. From what she said, and from her very actions, it's clear she enjoys it too. All in all, I can't consider that a bad thing. Yeah, sure.
Great, let's go.
Stepping out from her desk, Kiyoko looks towards me with a grin plastered on her cute face, and adorable sights of friendship lighting up the room. At least metaphorically. Given the time we spent together, I can't help but cherish the sight of her smile. The contrast to the woes she's been carrying all too long, I can only pray that things go well with Naomi. As she bats her hair behind her back, stroking it gently as it frays out beautifully, like a chocolate fountain, she lifts her head up, peering briefly towards me before breaking contact once again. Taking a step forward, Kiyoko joins me at my side as we venture out together into a crowded corridor.
Finally, we get to go home. I hate economics. What happened to your basketball training? That? Oh, right. Well, skipping a day can't hurt, can it?
Listening to intermittent chatter as I weave through the crowds with Kiyoko, my mind returns to a state of thought as the girl to my side remains in her own silent trance. A girl captivated by the mysteries of the world, prodding them with her inquisitivity, looking out for results. For a scientist, she certainly prioritizes fun over actual knowledge. I'm not sure what she gets out of doing our experiments besides the thrill of possibly burning the school down. Such a thought makes me ponder where her profound energy was directed before she joined the club, before she was kicked off the track team, when she was with Naomi instead of me. Thought of her dark hair rustling from the speed of her sprinting down the track, adorned in traditional bloomers and shirt. She doesn't seem like a spats type of girl. Yet, as much as she seems to want to cherish the time she spent with Naomi, taking the final steps to bring them together is no longer in my hands. The thoughts of what life must have been like for Kiyoko between splitting from Naomi and meeting me, I can't help but feel happy for her. A warmth at the depths of my heart. Knowing how alone she must have felt with her relationship severed, a cold world before her with half the school talking behind her back. In a way, I'm glad I found her. Catching glimpses of Kyoko's cheerful expression reflected from the glass panes skirted down the corridor, a calm feeling washes over me, a sense of solidarity. Despite the troubles in her school life, she skips cheerfully down the corridor with a smile adorned on her cute face. No real care in the world. Inside, she's hurt, yet somehow content with the life she's living. Happy she can rummage through her heart to find some kind of fun in her daily life. Arriving at the labs, Keiko turns towards me, a brunette lock of hair gliding through the air. She now faces me. Happiness coating her face, her lips curled up into a smile, as a rosy bloom caresses her cheeks. It's this image which has kept me here.
We're here.
I know that. Do you need a hand setting stuff up today? The time itself continuing to pass, to at least engage myself in the club activities at some point.
Yeah, I'd really like that. We need the Bunsen burners and the measuring cylinders. I'll get the beakers.
Haphazardly lifting her lab coat from a nearby chair and squeezing into it, Kiyoko makes her way to a set of drawers at the far end of the room, squatting down to find the beakers. Despite it being a sight, I can't ignore the task handed down to me. Gripping the slender handles of a nearby cupboard, I scout out the rest of the equipment as Kiyoko hums diligently in the background. Living life like this, it's not at all bad.
Could you get some universal indicator? I'll handle the more serious stuff.
Given her track record, ruining her clothes and blasting the room with a billows of smoke, you'd think I'd be the one trusted with the hazardous stuff. Yet as clumsy as she is, Kyoko's intellect far outmatches my own. I can't even tell the difference between a compound and a molecule. Sure. As time washes over us, I continue onwards watching Kiyoko frantically scurry around the room as she continues setting up a makeshift experiment. Each time we come here, things continue to get more and more complex as she maintains the same upbeat smile on her face. Lips curled up in joy as they glisten in the ever-sinking sun as afternoon turns to evening.
I think I need a break. I'm thirsty.
What about the experiment?
I can do that later. I really want some juice.
What happened to that drink from intellectuals you had before?
The school doesn't sell them. And I drink the rest.
You sure that's good for you?
Of course. But juice is even better. You want some?
I'm okay, thanks.
But we could share some.
I'll think about it. Looking towards me with a wry smile, Kiyoko walks back towards the door as she unsheathes herself from her lab coat. Regardless of her wearing it, I can't tell but find her cute. Her behavior channeling her inner well of eccentricity as she bursts out each sentence joyfully. From the outside, nobody would think she'd be carrying so much pain. Finishing up by running her fingers through her hair, Kiyoko gestures towards the door as we make our way out into the corridor once again. A duo on a journey to quench our thirst. But it's not as if I'm particularly thirsty. Yet, as Kiyoko sways her arms by her sides as we stroll down the now empty halls, I can't help but appreciate that this reality has become routine. Pushing the doors to the cafeteria open, the two of us walk inside, greeted by a state of silence as it remains as empty as the corridors. Yes, at this time of day, or with people either in clubs or at home, we can actually cherish each other's company a little bit more than usual.
Do you want a juice? I'll buy you one.
Once again peering towards me with a beam, Kiyoko's cheeks remain mildly flustered as she anticipates my response. Her faint breathing is still noticeable amidst the silence. Her mouth ajar as she tries to capture herself within our awkward state. I'm okay. If I'm thirsty, I'll just have a sip of yours.
That's good with me. But you're my friend. I want to buy you one. You've stuck with me. You haven't quit the club. That's more than I can ask for.
Eyes now facing the floor with a saddened expression still visible on her delicate face. I can't help but feel bad for not accepting her offer. She clearly wants to make something up to me, despite not owing me a cent. If you insist, I'll have a soda.
Not an orange juice? That's my favorite.
I'm not a kid.
High school students can enjoy juice too.
With a pout, Kiyoko lifts her arms to her chest in rejection of my stance, eyes fixed towards my own with some kind of emotional dissonance, as she continues to breathe heavily in anger. Maybe you can. You're pretty childlike after all.
Not. I'm a mature woman.
Moving my eyes down slowly, I can't really think of any part of her that could be called mature. Showing her back to me with mock test, Kiyoko approaches the vending machine almost timidly as she looks around for our drinks.
There it is!
Slapping the button with enthusiasm, a small can is quickly grabbed by the machine and falls down into the slot below, shortly followed by another. The prior discontent on her face now gone, as she turns back towards me with a grin, slinging out my soda in a fervous flash.
Here.
Thanks. Turning her side towards me, Kiyoko looks away sheepishly as she opens the seal to her juice, placing her lips against the rim as she gently takes sip after sip. As we idle at the side of the hall, it doesn't take long for us both to finish our drinks as the sun ever looms through the windows, marking a makeshift signal that time has probably passed a little too much, yet I don't see either of us having a problem with that. Engrossed in our own company, the two of us walk leisurely towards the doors, prolonging our time together as the club comes to an end. The experiment we are supposed to have done now at the back of our minds. The single clank of my can hitting the bottom of the trash bin being the only sound calling out as the two of us bask in each other's company. No words needed as we happily make our way back down the corridor. Slicing through the rays of sunlight, warmth greets my skin with the evening now settling in. Kiyoko and I, side by side, making our way back to the labs to finish our day off. The silence, bar the typical idle sounds throughout the school, remains unbroken as we continue our approach towards the club. Our footsteps are maintaining steady percussion without any particular melody to support. No real direction, but not being lost either. Taking one last look to my side, a very familiar smile stays upon Kiyoko's face. Her cheeks rosing in the setting sun, lights flickering in her chestnut eyes as she looks on without any real direction of her own. I'd hardly ask about her ambition, her dream, still without paying much attention to my own. Thoughts of the future now fade as a new routine bloomed within the present. A blossom of activity flowering in my day-to-day life, that in itself is acceptable for now.
Did you have fun today?
But all we did was get drinks. We didn't do that experiment.
Did you have fun today?
In a way, spending time with her is still fun. Yeah, I did.
Good.
Joyfully skipping along, Kiyoko lags behind as I approach the door to the lab. The door left slightly ajar. Without the light from inside, the sound of footsteps stops behind me. You left it open, right?
What? No. Why would I do that?
I don't know. Just in case anyone showed up wanting to join. Taking a step forward, Kiyoko remains behind me as I look through this thin gap into the room. In all honesty, I would have been surprised if it were a teacher inside, yet the sight that greets my eyes certainly is a surprise. A flowing lock of auburn hair, a pure white shirt, and the skirt slightly ruffled by the breeze from an open window. A slight glint of sweat against her skin as she idles at a nearby desk, arms crossed characteristically as her eyes face down towards the floor. Naomi. Taking no heed of my presence, she continues to aimlessly look around the lab as she stands complacently waiting for presumably our return. She must have known we left. A glum look coats her face as she turns away to peer towards another part of the room. A visible look of nervousness as her faint shaking ruffles the cuffs of her shirt.
Is anyone there?
I'm not sure. Keeping my voice low, Kiyoko works her way around behind me, The side of Naomi is still obscured by my back. The presence of Naomi is a clear indication she wants to sell things now, to overcome the issues in the past and rebuild the bonds between them. Yet somehow, having been involved in this too, a mutual feeling of nervousness works its way through my body.
Let's go inside. If anyone's there, we can greet them.
Squeezing away past me, the warmth of her body contrasts against the chill flowing down my spine as Naomi turns her head to face us, a melancholic look shifting into one of shock. Despite having grown close to Naomi, I didn't expect to bear witness to redemption in person. I didn't expect her to want me to see this. As silence spans the room, the two girls continue gazing inquisitively towards the other. Both of their faces progressing slowly towards woe as the other's presence begins settling in. With Naomi's expression stuck in a mix of sad and embarrassed, Kiyoko's own begins to turn into one of sullen resentment as she steps forward, and characteristically taking the first steps to speak up.
What are you doing here?
I just wanted to say something.
My own emotions riled, nervousness filling my heart as the situation begins to unfold. Naomi's own voice remains composed as Kiyoko glares towards her, almost in anger. The chains of her past breaking as the pain inside her sets free. The girl, usually cheerful, energetic, and happy now, resenting the person standing before her, the source of her suffering.
What is there to say?
Anger seeping from her voice. Kiyoko remains frozen as Naomi fidgets timidly with her hair, her eyes locked to the floor. Never would I have imaged such a complete personality swap.
I wanted to talk to you.
Catching a glimpse of Kyoko's pain as she briefly turns to me, my own interpretation of the situation, she continues forward as the emotions inside her spiral out of control.
Really? You want to talk? After what you did, you want to talk?
I want to do something about this. I want them both to be happy. But as much as I've been there for them, this is something they should decide on their own. Knowing I'm involved would shatter Kyoko's heart, yet bringing them this moment was a risk I had to take. The passion in Naomi's heart convinced me that she's not a bad person. Regardless of the past, I want them to have a future together. Kyoko's own emotions sink faster into dejection as tears well beneath her hazel eyes, a feeling reflected in Naomi's own. Looking towards her, she opens her mouth slowly before beginning to unleash the feelings locked at the depths of her heart.
Please. Is that too much to ask? It's not what you think. Really.
Tears streaming down her reddened cheeks. The light catches them like diamonds as Naomi wipes away the shiny allure. Her skin glossed with a mix of sweat and teardrops. Nervousness and sadness pushed into one. As their sentiment tugs at my heartstrings, the scene continues to unfold before my eyes. All I can do is watch the pain history between two old friends unravel through teardrops and resentment.
You came here to destroy our friendship, didn't you? Just like you did ours.
Didn't.
Can't you just leave me alone?
That's not... I can't.
A flood of tears seep from their faces, their inner feelings unleashed through stained words and sniffles. Stray breaths, tight grips, shaking bodies. The embodiment sadness itself. His nails dig into her skin. Kiyoko clenches her wrist.
Don't understand.
Of course I understand!
Footsteps ring out sharply. Filling the room with sound as Kyoko's voice echoes throughout. Her small, frail body disappearing from view as a feeling rushes past me. The only thing remaining is sight of Naomi's tear-struck face as she stares back towards me with an equal amount of shock. The feelings once welled within my heart tell me what to do as they rise up, boiling over passionately as the image of Kyoko's teary face flashes in my mind.
Don't just stand there. Go. I'll be fine.
Rushing out of the room, the image of Naomi shifts quickly to the empty corridors as my legs pump rhythmically in motion. Living alone is bad enough, but I don't see her as the type to hold it against me. For the past few days I've learned she's not going to give up on Kiyoko. I don't want to either. Classroom doors whizzing past me in sprint as I reach the staircase, frantically shifting my body down the steps as I chase after Kiyoko. The sounds of her cries getting louder as I approach the courtyard with ragged breath, that being the only thing on my mind. Kiyoko!
I guess I've lost it a bit since then. Huh. We don't do much running in the science club, do we?
Kiyoko.
Do you want to hear the truth? Or do you just want me to keep lying to you?
Turning to face me, Kyoko's face remains stained with tears as she continues to weep. Her sharp breath cutting between her cries and sniffles as she stands ahead, no longer the cheerful girl I've become so accustomed to. Kiyoko.
Please.
The truth then. Letting out her feelings to me, Kiyoko wipes away the tears dripping from her cheeks as she continues with a ragged breath. Her cry is now muffled by nervousness as she tries to gather herself. Her past now before her as she faces it head on.
I've told you before, right?
Without any interjection from myself, Kiyoko continues forward without strained breaths, muttering out the words held at the back of her mind.
I used to be on the athletics team.
The story itself is similar. The sight of Kiyoko still strings my heart as she bats her eyes away, tears welling beneath them.
I was good too, but you wouldn't let me run anymore. She wouldn't let me race. She ruined it for me. Do you really think I could forgive her? She was such a friend, but...
Pain history welling up through anger as Kiyoko turns away, tears once again flowing from her eyes, they drop to the ground. Sharing like glass as I watch them fall, starved for words as my mouth remains ajar, heart beating in agony as I watch her suffer. Alone in the cold, vast world.
She sabotaged the other runners, and they blamed it on me. I was banned from the team. Do you see why I can't forgive her? Even though...
Kiyoko. A heartbroken girl before me. Whether stepping in now is right now or not isn't the question. Sweetheart, I want to. Seeing her like this, I would stain with tears as she tucks her head into her hands. I don't want her to be alone anymore. Maybe it wasn't like that.
But the other members, they were jealous. They pressured her to get me out of the club. Why else would she do it? I thought she was my friend. I thought you were my friend.
I am your friend. That's why I can't see you hurt like this. Glaring towards me, her anger now is spiraling out of control. All I can do is tell her the truth. Naomi's truth. My truth. Do you really think she'd come back for you? Do you think that she'd want forgiveness if she didn't miss you? I don't know what went on in your lives. How close you two really were. But I sure as hell know that Naomi still wants you in hers. How painful it is for her. For you. She just wanted you to win. Because you were her friend. Surely, you can give her that chance. A moment of silence is resting between us. Kiyoko looks to the ground as her breathing settles softly. Her prior anger dissipated as she loses herself in her thoughts.
You really think so?
Her voice strained. Kiyoko looks back towards me, cheeks damp with tears and eyes reddened. A complete contrast to her usual cute and upbeat allure. Of course I do. Naomi is hurt too. I don't think she can forgive herself either. You're best friends after all. Her breathing now is settled. Kiyoko wipes her cheeks once again as her fingers glisten, covered in tears. It's not a beautiful sight, yet seeing her gain some form of composure is reassuring at least. Finishing her brief pause, she aims her eyes towards me once again. Gloss with her remaining teardrops, she slowly parts her quivering, flushed lips.
I'll think about it.
Forgiving someone is hard. Prefer not to take this chance. She'll never be able to repair the torn bonds between her and Naomi. Seeing the tears trickle down her face, it's evident enough she's taking a step out of her comfort zone.
That...
What?
Thank you.
In the flash, I find myself within Kyoko's embrace as she takes me in her arms, a warm breath against my ears as she nestles her tear-soaked face into my neck. The warmth of her body is stark contrast against the cool evening air. What? Stepping back on my shoes and my own words, Kiyoko falls close to me as we fall back before regaining balance.
I'm hugging you. What do you think I'm doing?
The feeling is still somewhat foreign as she brushes against me, her hair stroking my face as her words cross the thin gap to my ear. I've never had a girl this close to me before.
You don't have to say it.
Speaking my words aloud, Kiyoko lets out a faint giggle, close enough to send a tingly feeling throughout my body. But why?
Because you've been here for me. It means a lot. So, I wanted to thank you.
With her breath in my ear, cheeks still moist with her prior tears and the warmth against my own, I can't help but savor the moments as Kiyoko trails off in silence, seemingly enjoying it herself. The fruity, citrus smell of her shampoo meeting my nostrils as her head rests nuzzles against my neck. I could get used to this.
Anyway.
Breaking our brief embrace, Kiyoko looks away timidly, wiping off the few tears still clung against her pale skin, as her previous frown is nowhere to be found. Her lips now curl upwards in a cute, endearing smile, what I've been longing to see.
It might take some time, but I'll try it. I'll try to accept her.
Peering off into the distance, Kiko's eyes parts from my own briefly, giving me a chance to observe her once again. This girl, now complacent in the spring breeze, as her rosy cheeks begin to dry in the evening air, is one of a kind. With her silky hair fluttering in the breeze, she finally returns to my gaze, matching it with yet another smile.
Do you want to walk home together?
I don't see why not. Having left Naomi behind the clubroom, I can't help but feel her eyes from the window above, overlooking the schoolyard and what seems to be the start of an emotional reunion. Both now ready to start the process of welding their broken bonds back together. I'll just have to message her later, reflecting back on our embrace. All that's on my mind now are thoughts of Kiyoko. Thoughts I can't bear to shake. The school gates, the barrier to the newfound world I've grown to know, skims through my vision as I pass by. Students filling the space around me, spanning far and wide as a nonchalant melody of nature and chatter greets my ears. Wiping sleep from my tear ducts, the thoughts of yesterday cross my mind once again, as I keep my eyes pierced on doors before me. The entrance to what will hopefully turn out to be a path to rekindling the broken bonds between two different, yet similar girls. Two oxymoronic hearts, couldn't need a chance to be together again.
Because you've been here for me. It means a lot. So, I wanted to thank you. Anyway. It might take some time, but I'll try it. I'll try to accept her.
The feeling of Kiyoko's warmth against my chest is still fresh within my mind. All I can do is smile, spring breeze crossing my face. If things go to plan, that's for them to decide. The steps to make them happy again are finally falling into place. To make Kiyoko happy. Our history, despite brief, held its own value in our lives. The antics of the science club, I highlight my final year of high school. And this is only just the beginning. Skirting my way through the corridor, the usual morning crowds, obstacles on the road towards class. The warmth of sunlight piercing through the panes of glass along the hall hits my cheek in a familiar rhythmic fashion. My day-to-day life, however changing, but still keeping the basic fundamentals I'd honestly miss.
Oi! You cheeky git!
What? Standing beside the doors to the class, a small girl leans against the wall with a fierce expression. Her eyes pointed towards me like daggers as she continuously maintains a cute yet threatening pout. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I just felt like saying that.
Closing the gap between us, Kiyoko stands with a now happy expression and she raises her hands triumphantly, almost as if she's proud of her antics. Yet despite it being now commonplace, the same heartfelt smile finds its way on my face and my cheeks raise diligently in response. You've been waiting for me?
No. Well, not long anyway. I wanted to tell you something.
The emotions of yesterday still hovering above us. The expression on her face is distinctly hard to read. Her cheeks flustered, eyes shied away. It's almost as if she's embarrassed. Saving my own breath, Keiko's own sounds out before me, forming the vowels of my heart as timidity flows between us.
Thank you.
For what? Almost annoyed, Kiyoko maintains her rosy cheeks as she pouts towards me once again, this time shorter than the last.
For what you have done with Naomi. It's not like I didn't think about forgiving her.
At the end of the day, the importance of their relationship was evident from the start. Kiyoko too held the same feelings Naomi wanted to protect. It's the feelings they both want to feel once again. Well, it's okay. Really. Ruffling her skirt as she readjusts her stance, Kiyoko continues peering in my direction. A look of content remains glazed across her face as she sniffles slightly. The long period of woe now opens her brighter future.
It's not just okay. It's great. I want to make it back to you. I'll buy you a juice at lunch. That's nothing in comparison, but it's a start.
Smiling diligently before me, the feelings of my own heart well up at the sight of her happiness. A cute smile beaming in the morning sunlight as the first bell rings for class. In itself a treasure at the end of our long journey, and the beginning of another together. With a flustered heartbeat, a smile of my own mixes away back to her as I return her warmth. The problems were seemingly behind them. Seeing her like this is enough to make my heart skip a beat. The time we spent together fixing their problems, now deeply rooted and sprouting into a world filled with new possibilities, I want to enjoy it. Bell chimed from above. Time to start classes diligently arrived. The brief separation of friends. The Kiyoko in the front and me only slightly behind. Sitting as we idly wait for our duties to be over, to speak freely once again. Morning sunlight striking us, a mutual pair of smiles as we all need to mark our brief farewell as we head into class side by side. A once boring life now filled with an eccentric type of joy, and a once woeful life now being rebuilt as she climbs up the path to happiness. Two students of class 3-1. Perhaps goodbye to anyone else, yet still two friends. So class, I'm expecting full attendance next week. I can't have young minds slacking off in this day and age. Make sure to bring your homework in on time too. Our now accustomed economics teacher, now gripped by his own lethargy, class lets out a sigh of relief in response as the lunch break steams ahead. Groups of friends conversing together, hustling into a room to get together. Luckily enough, The cute and eccentric bundle of knowledge still remains slumped on her desk as I join the crowds traversing the room. Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be?
You fell asleep, didn't you?
I'm a diligent student. Why would I do that?
Well, yesterday it takes it out of us from all of us. The event's still fresh in my mind. The pain in the hearts of her only just beginning to soothe. The desire to be together again now sprouted. Do you want to go get some lunch?
I asked you a question. But sure. I'd like that.
With Naomi?
It couldn't hurt. After all, I want to make things right again too.
Then it's settled. The uneasiness in her voice a given. A heavy heart now thrust to forgive and forget the sorrows straining their past, to focus on the happiness they both sought. Her peachy lips trembling slightly as nervousness flows from within her. The girl caught up in the tangibility of her own emotions. Touched by each other's desire to rebuild the bonds they once knew. To make an omelet, we got to break some eggs. Even if it's hard for her, she wants to be friends with Naomi again. Dialing her number, I stared towards the picture of her oddly cheerful face on the screen before me. A sign of happiness contrasting the tear-soaked face of yesterday. It's not hard to say that the sight of their faces makes me flustered too.
What do you want? Oh, it's just you.
That's certainly a warm hello.
What did you expect?
Can't really say I was expecting anything different. Despite her wanting change, she's still her usual self.
Do you want to go get some lunch? It's not like I'm doing anything.
I was just about to ask you the same thing. Her nervousness apparent through her sharp breaths, stutters. I can't tell but imagine her sheepish expression as she tries her best to maintain her usual brash attitude.
How nice of you!
Is that sarcasm?
Just a little bit. I'll meet you in the cafeteria soon. I just have to finish changing. I beat my personal best, you know.
So she was doing something after all.
Bring Kiyoko.
Hanging up abruptly, the line falls silent as the feeling of the cool glass screen against my face becomes more prominent. The pouty face peering towards me. I guess Kiyoko couldn't help overhearing our conversation. Just as I slide my phone back into its usual place in my pocket, chimes ring out once again as I bring it back to my ear in disdain.
I forgot to say, but thank you.
Once again, I'm leaving me with silence. I stare back at the screen, expecting her to call again any second. Kiyoko too joining in as she continues looking on quizzically. She's coming.
That's good to hear.
Analyzing the look plastered upon Kyoko's face, themes of anxiety and nervousness shine out to me as she pouts in disdain once again. Whether she likes being stared at or not, it's clear that the emotions inside her are still fluttering around her heart. We should probably get going. We do want to get the nice food, right? What would the canteen give me a first come first served battleground?
Right.
Trotting to my side, the happiness inside her beams from her smile as her lips glisten under the light. The trembling once bestowed upon them now calmed as her quivering is inhibited by her own ambition, the desire to make things right again. Swinging the cafeteria doors open, the smells of freshly cooked food wash towards us. The sound of bustling students trying to get some ringing out alongside. An abnormally large number of students too, as if the day I had to eat food with the school's most iconic students was the day people stopped doing packed lunches.
Is she here?
A flustered look now coating her pale face. It's almost as if she didn't expect her to be here at all. Crimson now racing to her cheeks as she blushes meekly under the ceiling-strewn lights, her breath almost unsteady. Did you not expect her to be?
No, I did. But as scientists, you have to expect the unexpected. Anyway, food!
Taking no spare moment to end our conversation normally, Kiyoko shies her way over to the queue, and almost complete contrast her apt desire to be fed. Looking at her from this angle, it's clear to see why she fit the bill as an athlete. As if I haven't already seen enough of her body as it is.
What are you waiting for? Come on!
Alright. I guess now's not the time. Skipping her way further down the line, I trail behind Kiyoko as the sounds of weak conversations resonate through a wisp of people behind. An idle way of passing the time as I wait to be served.
Hey, did you hear about the new beef sandwiches they're doing here? What? That's crazy. Who would think that imported beef would sweep the country just over one school in Tokyo? It's not even Japanese.
The chatter quickly quells out as the line slowly inches forward. Kiyoko grabs herself a tray with an assortment of treats and a hot meal, as if she's indulging this a bit too much.
I'll find us a place to sit, okay?
Sure. It's not often I get the chance to have lunch with a girl as cute as her, and what with Naomi coming along, the chances are surely bound to be reduced. I can almost feel the envious gazes against my back, a sense of dread quickly washing over afterwards.
Hey, will you hurry up? Jeez.
Snatching my own tray with haste, and their similar strewn pile of food, I hurried behind Kiyoko to join at one of the few empty tables in the hall.
Do you mind if I sit here too?
Oh, sure.
You could be a little more enthusiastic.
Naomi? Her voice quickly clicking in my mind, aided by Kyoko's flustered face as her eyes shy away to the side, cheeks aglow in a rosy shade. The situation has now become fairly obvious.
You wanted to eat lunch with me, right? So, here I am.
I did. The events of yesterday still traced on her voice, expression in Kyoko's too. None of us exactly sure how to continue as we bask in this newfound awkwardness as a trio. It sounds to break the silence, and he was chair skirting backwards and Kyoko's faint nibbles on her biscuit. It's clear one of us is going to have to take that step forward to get the future we've all been after. A friendship restored. So, Kiyoko, why'd you create the science club anyway?
Haven't you already asked me this?
Both girls' eyes now locked on towards me. It's clear from the glint of sweat masking their faces that they're both equally as nervous as me and as each other. I'm not sure.
I've always found the world interesting. It's what I wanted to do. But someone thought I'd be better at athletics instead.
Seemingly for the first time today, Kiyoko points her eyes towards Naomi. A look of contempt within them, as if her feelings have once again been let loose within her swirly chocolate eyes.
What? It was because you were good at it. Why would I let that talent go to waste?
You're not supposed to shout at someone when you compliment them.
That was a compliment?
Retreating away shyly, both girls sheepishly divert their gazes away from one another as they both light up in fervorous embarrassment.
I always used to think that you were great.
Really?
Remaining flustered, Kiyoko trails off into ongoing silence. They are even more awkward than before as the ice between their hearts slowly begins to melt. How about we all do something tomorrow? Spend some time together. As easy as it is for words to flow out the tip of my tongue, it's just as easy for their expressions to quickly snap into shock as they both peer towards me in bewilderment.
What?
That wasn't the response I was expecting.
It's not like I'll be doing anything else.
I mean, we'd be spending time together anyway. In the club.
Both girls look shyly towards one another, before fixating themselves on me with weak smiles plastered on their faces. Despite them being shallow, they're the smiles I cherish. Smiles that send flutters through my heart. Well, it's all then. Lunch is about to end anyway, just in time.
But I haven't finished.
The walls between them falling. My lunch break ends to the sight of two once lost girls now engaged in positivities as they both laugh and giggle. Our journey is still incomplete, but slowly and surely their bonds will form once again.
I have to go anyway. I left my bag in the locker room.
Standing up swiftly, almost pushed by her prior nervousness, Amy's hair sways glamorously under the light. Expression, warm, contrast with the previous air of coldness I had first received from her.
I guess I'll see you tomorrow then.
Peering towards Kiyoko with a smile, happiness stays on her face. She turns back towards me. Thankful look going in the eyes as she blinks quickly, scratching her face as she tries to shy away.
Oh, see you tomorrow.
Still trying to combat her timidity, Kiyoko stands from her chair with her hands clutched against her chest, keeping them close to her heart. Our break coming to close, a wave of content washes over me as I take another look at the girls before me. An image of shattered hearts, broken bonds, and tears coloring their faces now replaces with something delightful. A picture of a better future as their history as friends brings them back together once again.
I thought you were here to join the science.